And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Discussions with Dazerin. Today, I am joined by none other than the man himself, the three-time back-to-back RLCS World Champion Turbopolsa. Today, we're going to have a little bit more of a styled interview as Turbo as we take a glimpse into the life of a world champion. We're going to hit him with some topics that have to do with like hot topics across the scene, some things about his team, and just some things that we can only ask him personally. But first off, Turbo, thank you for joining me on the show today. Do you ever get tired of being called the three-time?
No, not really. Can't wait for the fourth time.
Easy. But like, it's funny how life works. I was reading an article you did last season by Andrew Hayward, and you had no intentions of going pro when you had first started playing, right?
No, not at all.
And now, three-time back-to-back world champion, going for four. That's quite the story to start it off with. But I want to start off, I mean, literally at the beginning with the very first team that we have records of so far. You were playing in RLCPL with the team MyXMG. I'm not sure if you guys renamed to Kapow later on with the Latin Sniper. But I wanted to ask, what was the game like for you back then compared to how it is now?
The game right now is much faster, much more like complicated. A lot of like hall flips, like going up the ceiling was never a thing back then. So it's way more like it's harder. It's more team play oriented now, and like back then it was just more of the individual skill, so to say. So that's probably the biggest change so far.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's something that we all see as time had progressed. A lot of people can easily just look up a video of like games back then, and everything is different now. Even from like how the camera work works into the game, and of course the casting and how players play. It's a completely different world back then in Season 1 than it is now. To go, like, to kind of follow up here on the timeline a little bit, after you guys had played at RLCPL, you guys moved on and immediately signed up for RLCS Season 1, right?
Yeah.
And then in the middle of like that Season 1, because it was separated between stages, so there was like a stage 1 and then a stage 2. I believe you transferred teams to Market with Pashy and Siki for the second half of that, right?
Yeah.
So, describe to me, because that little change in between teams has a story of its own, from what I know. What happened when you were on like the Market roster with Pashy and Siki?
Well, first of all, I want to say like the team with Linus and like Alot and Sniper was not my actual first team. I was a team with GNU, Barry, and Frothany before that, but then they picked me up. But the change to Mock, it was like I knew Passion Seek was a good, and they got top 4, so it was like almost guaranteed. I think it got third actually in the first qualifier. So they just picked me up, thought I was like good or something, and they had good potential. Now looking back at it, I regret the decision. I should have stayed with a lot of Sniper. It was just that in my head at that time, like I was getting the salary, I was earning the big bucks, 700. It was huge back then.
Right.
Like for a 17-year-old that's never earned any money from video games at all, that's like I got a huge interest in that. So like in my head it was like, yeah, they want to pick me up so they can remove competition from Kapow, like right now, and I regret it so much, but thankfully, like a lot of Sniper like forgave me and everything, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and it seems like you guys are all pretty cool for like at the moment. I should say you guys seem to get along when you guys go to events and stuff like that, just from the outsider's perspective. But to talk more about your current team, the powerhouse team that is currently Team Dignitas, your teammates Violent Panda and K-Dot, from your perspective, what are they like as a teammate?
Caleb can, he can be a little bit like lazy, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like before, he was playing tournaments like 2v2, 3v3, 1v1 tournaments every day. But now he's like, I don't know, it's just he thinks he's the best right now, so he doesn't take it that serious anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it works, so I don't blame him. I mean, he's a good guy. He's funny. He just doesn't know he's funny. He says stupid shit that he doesn't realize that's funny. And yeah, he's a good guy all around. Panda is he's a good leader. He wants well with everyone. He chooses everyone else before him, and that's what I like to see in a team captain like him.
That's great. It's safe to say that you guys are obviously good friends, right?
Yeah.
So from spending time together at events, can you tell me like the weirdest thing that you've seen from either of them? Like, what's like the weirdest thing they do?
I mean, at every event I room with K-Dop, so it's just like funny. Like he doesn't know English that well,
Right.
so like he had one time he like had a like a badge around his neck, and I asked what's around your neck, and he literally asked me what is neck, and he looked behind him, like he thought it was like something in his back or something, and like I don't know, that it killed me. Just stupid moments with problem with the English. It's so fun.
Yeah, I've only spoken to the K-Dop like a couple of times. It's usually like hi and bye because we all know that he doesn't know English that well. It's very it's like it's easy like for people to like see that, like it's like out there in the open, like just from talking to him it's understandable. So I
mean, he tries his best with the English. Yeah. He tries.
I still watch his streams even though I don't know what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love him and I love it. But I mean, he knows a sub notification. That's about as much English as I think you need to know. That's a good thing.
I mean, it's still problems with that though, even though he's been singing that for a year or something.
Oh yeah.
He never gets it right.
We won't rip up too much on K-Dop. But tell me how the team got together. How did you guys end up forming a super team? That's what I like to call it, super team.
So Kayla was planning to team with Panda before Season 3 LAN. And Season 3 LAN happened. I won, of course, obviously. And they teamed up, looking for a third. And obviously I was a sub, and only planning to sub for Northern Gaming just that LAN. And DreamHack Summer was coming up. They were planning to play with Fairy Peak, actually. So this is probably new for some of you guys. But Fairy Peak decided to play Gfinity with Pashy and me. And like that was before DreamHack. And then Caleb got pissed at Fairy Peak, so he asked me if I wanted to play with them. And of course I said yes, because I know the potential they had.
Right.
And like with the history of Pashy, I knew it was going to be a better option for me. So I left them. We won the DreamHack. The Gfinity, I think, not sure. We go to DreamHack Summer, get second. And after that, at the dinner, they just asked me if I wanted to play with them. And that's how we formed. Yeah. Just after the DreamHack.
And after that, it was just, I mean, the rest is literally, I hate saying it, but like the rest is history. You guys have become the team to beat, so to speak, in Rocket League. I mean, no team has won multiple championships back to back. No player has won 3 championships back to back. It's unbelievable. It's unprecedented. You know, I could talk about it like all day long, but no, we're not gonna do that. In your opinion, though, why do you think you guys are this dominant? Why do you think you guys are this good?
To be completely honest, I have no idea. It's like in my opinion, I never thought I was mediocre at every game I played. Like CS:GO, League of Legends, like literally every game I played.
Mm.
And then like coming to Rocket League, being the #1 team in the world, just like mind blowing for me. Like I don't know how this happened, and I don't know. I just like literally don't know. It's like we have the perfect chemistry or something. It just works for some reason.
Oh crap. Okay. Well, we got some news from people in chat. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later. I still want to talk to you about some more team stuff. So, in my opinion, based on how you and your team has done, I think that it's definitely, I don't know. For me, it's just like I feel like everyone in that team has strengths. Like Hidoff's a great shooter. You're great at positioning. Violent Panda is a selfless teammate, and those things just work. We've of course, I've like spent God knows how long just watching replays and stuff like that, and then like picking out clips with like Rocket Dailies, and just like seeing how well you guys play as a collective team. It's like when you're on, it works, and it's cool to watch. But that being said, and as much as people talk you guys up, you guys have lost to teams before, and I want to ask you, out of all the teams in the world, if you could pick one that would really give you a run for your money, who would you pick?
I mean, right now it's NRG. When they are at the A game, they're like almost unstoppable, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like they're not unstoppable, but it's just a really good team. They are very fast, very mechanical, and it's just very hard to play against them. I think that's the team right now I will have the most problem with. The new complexity roster, I think they're gonna do great.
That hasn't been announced yet. Oh wait, it has. They picked
Yeah,
up
they has.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're gonna do good. They've been playing well in scrims, but we all know scrims doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's RCS official matches that matters. But I think they'll do good. They just started with the team, and it's a work in progress from here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I agree with the NRG statement. I think that they've done like they were my team going into LAN. I thought that they were going to be the ones that could actually like pull it off, and they almost did. They did really good. They won the upper bracket, but you guys just turned it on and did what you guys do, and ended up getting the lower bracket run. It was nice to see though. Oh man, that was a good world championship.
A little bit too exciting for me.
Oh yeah, the Game 7 OT, and all that. Do you ever feel like that's like the win is kind of overshadowed by that goal from Justin to tie it up?
Well, obviously my goal wasn't that like just as good as Justin's goal tied up 6 seconds in Game 7. I mean, even though they will not have bumped each other, I'm pretty sure I still would have scored, since it was to the left corner, far left corner, and Garrett was a little bit out of position.
Mm-hmm.
So with or without a bump, I think I would have scored, but we can't be sure. I mean, it's RCS. Every mistake matters, and if you don't like take care of what you're doing and be aware of where people are, and things will strike back.
Oh, you're in chat. LOL. I'm just glancing back and forth. You're in there. Yeah, we're definitely gonna hit on that. So you've been a part of 3 different orgs. Well, 4 actually. You've been part of Maki.
I wasn't the part of Northern Gaming, like a contract.
Okay.
I was just outside of it.
Okay. Well,
If you count my XMG, that's an org.
Okay.
Very small.
Yeah. All right. Well, you've been involved with multiple orgs. I don't even want to
Mm-hmm.
categorize it as one, to be honest. But from what I've known, or I'm sorry, from your experiences, can you talk to me about some of the things that they have in common and some of the things that have like separated them?
From like Dignitas, Gale Force,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Mocket. I
Yeah.
think like Dignitas is more structured. They know what they're doing. They're much bigger org. They have our backings, and just they know what they're doing. That's all I have to say. Like Mocket, you know the history,
Yep.
and Gale Force, you know what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the management was decent in Gale Force, but Team Dignitas is something else I've never been a part of, so it's good.
Okay. You seem to have like a really close relationship with the CEO Mike Prindeville. Can you like talk to me about like what's the relationship like with him as a CEO to a player?
I mean, they don't treat us like business partners; they treat us like friends. So it's great. But right now, we just love everyone. To be honest, it's good to be in the such an org like this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've personally met Mike before he was a CEO. He was running the first Universal Open,
Mm.
and they had the Chicago qualifiers. I was there in the studio. We met, we talked, and boom! Now he's a CEO of your team. It was cool. But I also reached out to him, and I think we're going to see if we can set him up to come on here to talk a bit about like his history and stuff behind the scene, what it's like running this organization, especially like how well structured it is from like what you're telling me.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, just like seeing you guys on social media going back and forth. He had the video of him watching where he was just falling apart up and down, like as the games were progressing in that game 7. To you guys meeting up for gnarly, I believe, and then oh, you guys went to the Sixers
Yeah, we
training
met
camp.
I met him first time at the facility, and
Mm-hmm.
Panda and Caleb met him at the Universal Open. Is he were running that?
Yeah. He has that good picture of him literally like picking you up. It's great. It's so
Yeah, that was very odd, but it was funny.
yeah. But
He thought Caleb scored a goal. He was looking at him. Then I said like, no, I scored a goal. He was like, oh fuck.
he's like, well, we gotta do it. But he's passionate. Like he's passionate. The only other person I've seen like, and I've talked to, of course, I talked to the NRG CEO. I talked to the Flipside CEO, and they all like share that same passion in different ways, but you definitely see it. Mike's is definitely more public and more like, you know, friendly to everyone as we've seen with the images and the videos, and he's doing a lot to get you guys more exposure, and it's great to see. And I really don't know
Yeah,
what else to.
he's a really down to earth guy.
Yeah.
Like he wants the best of like every team, and he treats everyone right, and I just love him. He wants the best for all the esports Dignitas is part of. He just tries to make the best out of it. So it's great.
Yeah, it is. So we're gonna move on to some hot topics. Matter of fact, we'll move on to I guess the hot topic right now. We just got a link in chat. The link will be, if you're watching on YouTube, the link will be in the description. RLCS Season 6 just got announced with I believe this is $1 million prize pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just got $1 million prize pool. High health prize be dual out. Watch for more later this summer.
Looks like I'm buying Ferrari after this season.
You're buying. Oh, that's great. That's great. This is big. This is actually really big. We went from what was last season, 250K to $1 million, and then Rival Series has an additional 100,000. We're making a big change to the prize pool, bringing back Rival Series open qualifiers. Teams that are interested can battle up to 2 of the 4. 120 teams. Okay. Anyone in Steam or PlayStation? Yeah. They got the sign-ups. They have the whole schedule. They have it. Wow. And boom, we got the RLCS Season 6 announcement. I like the style here. Very very neon lights, kind of Miami slash Vegasy. Should be very interesting for this season, but I don't know. Well, we've already kind of gotten your thoughts on the $1 million prize pool. You're buying a Ferrari, so
Yeah, or an expensive car. I don't know.
buy an air conditioner first. Well, you might not need one. How long is the weather going to be like that?
Far too long. I have no idea actually.
You gotta figure that out because you actually might need to buy one. It's like for those
No,
who
no,
don't
no.
know.
I got a fan coming tomorrow actually.
Okay. He's straight.
That would be great.
Yeah, you can sleep and stuff. So some more hot topics, or I guess not hot topics, but just like news and stuff that we want to talk about. The Rocket Pass. What are your thoughts on that? Does that? I don't think that really affects you, but like, how do you think it'll do for, I guess, like the overall community and stuff like that?
I mean, it's a great thing to have in a game. It rewards you for playing a game.
Mm.
It's something you will look for when playing a game, playing ranked and such, gain experience or whatever. I don't know how it will work exactly, but I'm really excited to grind it out.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, last season was 500K. My bad. Thanks, Jasher. You ass. Yeah. In terms of Rocket Pass, I'm also pretty. I'm excited for it. I play Fortnite, but I'm also really bad at it, and I like the idea of the Battle Pass, and like the whole, these kind of things. Like if you play this much, you'll definitely get it, and then it's also like cheap, like only $10. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not bad, especially if, like, as cheap as Rocket League's been. It's only a $20 game, $10 for a season. I don't know, good 3 months. Like, everything makes sense there. So I also like that. Moving on to things more esports related, there's currently a major roster shuffle going on in both North America and Europe. From your behind the scenes perspective, which region has had the most promising roster moves?
I mean, I haven't really seen much of the NA team, so I can't scream them at all.
Right.
The Chicago pickup from EG seems very promising. Seems to be an upgrade. I don't know exactly how they will play. Like I said before, complexity with Greasy seems to be a good pickup as well. They play a lot faster than they did before, so I like that roster. Servette did a mistake kicking Mommy Snow. Since, in my opinion, he was the best player in that team. So I'm not sure if with whoever they pick up, I'm pretty sure I know who they're picking up, but I don't think that's gonna be an upgrade at all. I think, like, overall, I think complexity will have the best. Like an upgrade, even though they got like third and second at RCS, they still managed to like lose every other online tournament and do bad just in general other than RCS. So that would be an upgrade in my opinion.
Feel that. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. Like, I feel like that team's always been in a weird spot because they're very good. They're always contending for stuff, but you don't really see a lot of wins, and that's what people really look for. They always fall just barely short, but they've definitely been like a top 4 team in EU, like without a doubt. So if like with Greasy being an upgrade to them, then it might shake things up this season. So with roster moves and stuff like that, do you feel like what player do you feel is underrated currently?
Sorry, what did you say?
What player do you feel is underrated, like at the moment?
Oof. That's a really good question. Everyone else is trash except me.
Okay.
No, but definitely not dude with the nose. That's for sure. I don't know, really. I mean, I think people praise Chicago, and I think he will do great. People don't realize that Greece is actually a good player since he's been a sub for a while. He hasn't made LAN in a long time. So Greece is definitely underrated by some. I mean, this is a good question. I don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. It's weird, like, cause I don't really know too much of like who's open and who's being like moved around in this particular shuffle. I'd be surprised if we see whether or not players like Chrome end up getting on a team. If we don't see moves from teams on the NA side like CLG after dropping down to Rival Series, and also Fnatic, who they pick up in place of Siki. And then where Scrub goes, because there's been so much talk about where Scrub goes. I think the teams that haven't announced their thirds, NA is Rogue, EU is Fnatic and Vitality.
We all know who Vitality is speaking of.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So mainly Fnatic. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Roster locks coming up as you know the season 6 announcements are coming through. So we'll have those roster announcements very soon, especially since signups are opening August. Play-in is in September. Yeah, the gap is closing, folks. So keep in tune with that. But I want to talk about relationships with pros. So most people, even pros themselves, say that they're all generally good friends with each other. Is that something that you think is a true statement or just more like a PR type statement? You know what I mean?
No, it is natural, like true statement. Everyone, like, of course, there's some people who has disagreements with some people, but in general, everyone is like talks with everyone. So that's why going to LANs is always a great fun. You see people who you talk to every day, and it's not just always competition. You can relax, talk to your friends that you talk to every day online at the actual LAN event. So it is a natural, like, it's true. Everyone is friends with everyone.
That's good to know. Definitely so, because last thing we need is more drama. Well, I say that, but people love it. I don't know.
I mean, I love it. It depends on what drama it is. And if it's not about me, I'm grabbing my popcorn and I'm watching. That's for sure.
Well, speaking of drama that has to do with you, my next one has to do with how you were like digging into Ghost in Season 4 land. Was that like another case of just like friendly beef for the most part?
Like, Classics has a like a history of talking shit about other teams just for fun. Like, we all know it's always for fun. And like, they beat us at Gnarly 3-0. So when I said that we're gonna smash them quick 3-0, I set up for them to beat us and then shit talk me for being that confident. So like, I don't have bad feelings towards anyone. It's always a banter. Just people take things too serious and don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So I think if people took a bit of grain of salt and let things slide, it will be much better.
Yeah, I feel that, and I mean it's also good for people to understand the relationship with players. I mean, there's a lot of times where we as like casters, we'll all do the same thing. Like, I'll play games with like Jorby or Stacks or Chiefs, and we'll just have times where we just like talk a bunch of shit about each other. And sometimes it leaks onto Twitter a little bit, but as long as everyone knows like that these guys are still friends at the end of the day, then they understand that it's just bands, bro. Nah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I feel like people kind of see like how like aggressive some guys can be. I know there was that thing with the should have been a 3-0 from Squishy, but Squishy clearly states like classics. You know we're friends. Like you know like I'm not talking shit about you. I just thought that I could have played better. And
I mean, he definitely worded that tweet wrong.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't think he really meant it, but he's just wording it very wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like he tried to like explain that, but a lot of people were it was already too late in a sense.
So, it's the internet, so you can never get away with anything.
That's true. So, we've had a couple of international events. We've seen OCE play in the World Championships this season. We've seen him play in E-League. We've seen him play last season, and it seems like they were getting like better and better. What are your thoughts on how they did in this past World Championship?
Do you mean Chiefs?
Yeah, Chiefs. I guess. Yeah, Chiefs and Tana Mimes. I mean, I think Tana did a better than like the usual second seed OCE team to come in.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think Tana Mimes would be performing like they were. Like after every RCS, they've been improving. So I mean, they're definitely getting like better placement every RCS. I think they got last season 4. Chiefs. I'm not sure. And I mean, they're improving all the time. I don't expect them to see them falling off anytime soon. Can only see them improving. I mean, the top 4 of OC, I don't think that can. Obviously, Tendermites and Chiefs are good,
right?
But I don't think the other teams can perform as well as they do.
Yeah, it's very.
I don't see adding the 2 other teams from OC to RCS. I don't see a point of doing that, in my opinion.
Okay. So we've also the only time we ever saw OCE not have like kind of like that low-ish, or I don't know how to call how they get seeded into the World Championships, but the only time where they were kind of like on par with everyone else was when they were invited to E-League. That was a different type of tournament format. I wanted to follow that up into what is like your personal favorite tournament format that you've been in.
I mean, I like the group format from E-League. Like going to groups and then to a single elimination. I don't know, I like to see more of that, since I like playing all the teams. Like, you have guaranteed chance to play every team in your group, instead of playing 2 games and you lose both and then you're out.
Right.
I mean, E-League was outside of the format thing. E-League was probably the most fun I had, regarding like how they handle everything, the media stuff. We had our own room for 3 PCs with fridge and everything. It was like we were treated so well there. They know everything in esport. It was great. I mean, RCS is fine. The league play, I think we could play some more games, not just once per week. Could like play 2-3 times per week to not like drag it out on everything. Yeah, the format is good, but definitely room for improvement.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, do you think like it needs a change in format?
Doesn't need to, but it doesn't like. You never know if you don't try. Felt like if it's good or not. So
That's a good point.
apparently now that there's no rule format change in RCS, so that's good and bad at the same time.
A little bit, yeah. Well, I think we'll see what happens. I'm not really. We got the dates, but I don't know. They only have like when the league plays begin. They don't really have too much, but they're saying that they're going to release more stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Do you think Rocket League esports could take, if there was something that they could take from any other esport, what do you think it would be?
I mean, it's always like everyone else has been talking about the like team decals or whatever.
Oh yeah,
that's a thing, but obviously legal actions has to be taken care of. It's not like you can just put Team Dignitas decal in the game and then expect everything to be fine. The org might not like it. And things like players might not be paid well with the team decal from the org.
yeah.
Like
You gotta make
a lot
sure.
of legal actions going through that.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say, like, you gotta make sure like everything's done right logistic wise. You know, percentages are good for orgs in terms of like how much they get off of it. Again, like you just said, design changes. Like, it's not something that they could implement overnight. We see mods do, or like people who are modders who like can make that stuff happen. Of course, no one's like, everyone loves it because it's the first time they see it, but it's not like, again, this doesn't, no one's buying this, you know what I mean? It's not a product, and that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily understand. Like, if you like, this is something that represents a brand, and it represents a lot. It represents Psyonix and their art team and their design team and what they can implement and put in the game. It represents the org, and also represents the players, because everyone is getting a chunk of that change. So it has to be as good as it can be, and that's not something that you can do overnight. So that I think that's why we haven't like heard too much of anything from that. I know like there's been talks like that they're working on it, but like, again, the reason why you haven't heard anything is because they have to make sure all of that's in place first, and that's setting up meetings with people and getting stuff approved, which takes even more time, and that's just how that works. So.
And like esport in Rocket League is just a small portion of the player base. They obviously focus on the casual player base, since that's what brings in the money. But it's like, I think Sunny Scorers said that they have like 15 people in the esport section, and like other like developers have like hundreds of them. Right. So they're just a small group. And obviously we can like bash on them saying it takes too long and everything like that, but they're just a small group. They're trying their best, and like talking to Corey like in person, they try their best. They know what needs to be done, but it takes time, like everything else does.
Yeah, I met Corey at DreamHack Atlanta. Literally, I think it had been like a year ago from today now. And oh yeah, it was, because they did that Liquipedia thing on Cloud9 the other day. And yeah, I met him there because that was when he like was really starting to get into it. That was before Psyonix had taken over the RLCS. And he was just talking to me about like things that he wanted, and all like the things that he wanted to bring to Rocket League esports. And you know, it's really, really good. Like, every time I speak to him, we always have like a decent conversation with a lot to take from it. And he's very passionate about what he does, and I feel that way for the rest of the Psyonix team. Shice, Josh, and then I know they brought some new guys, and I haven't spoken to them yet, but I assume that that's all like, you know, the same kind of like environment there. So
yeah,
it's yeah, people are impatient, but that's kind of what you got to deal with in that current situation. But they're doing a good job.
I just hope they don't wait too long for this to come out. Like, so people don't like put the game away.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just keeps the interest in this game.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that. Like with Garrett and him saying that like if things don't change, he was gonna retire and stuff like that. Like people are definitely like seeing the difference. But I mean, look, they just announced $1 million prize pool.
Yeah, I mean they're doing good. It just takes time.
Yeah,
I expect them to do good in like the past months.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna move on to a little bit of more personal topics. Starting with hey, you've won everything. Not everything, but you've won 3 world championships. Gnarly 2. The rival thing just like a few weeks, or no, not a few weeks, like last weekend, that EU Cup. Yeah, that's a lot of prize pool money, dude. So like, what have you done like so far with all your winnings?
I have invested about 75% of them and kept the rest in my bank account. I haven't bought anything big or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have all the money.
Wow. That's smart man. Very smart man. I like that. I've seen you on Twitter get vocal at times about casting Rocket League. Pros, in general, everyone has their own opinions about casting in Rocket League. But can you tell me who your favorite casters are and why they're your favorite casters?
In my opinion, and I don't think anything can change my opinion, it's Carpet and Shogun. I mean, they have like good chemistry. They know what they're talking about. They bring the hype at the right point, like at the right time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, they're a really good fit as a casting duo. And I hope they stick with Rocket League and not go into any other esport. Well, esport like PUBG. I don't know, it's just the atmosphere around them, and they bring the hype at the right time, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Shogun definitely does a good job at that. He's amazing. I think he's amazing. I talked to Carpet last time when we had met at an esports arena in Vegas because he was doing that show match with Ghost and Rogue, and we were chatting about casting in Rocket League and up and coming casters and all this other stuff. And he's always just a treat to talk to. Has a lot of insight, especially because he has worked with other esports and he has all that experience. I mean, he's working at NGE and he's done PUBG. He did that Fortnite thing the other day where he surprised us all and shaved his beard and hurt all of our feelings. And of course, just such good energy in a Rocket League broadcast, and he's always a treat. So
you always have fun around him. He's great in person as well.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah, he took me gambling for the first time. That was fun. We were out in Vegas. Like,
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, he stayed longer than me. I kind of knew when to go, but I think he learned how to do craps for the first time. I was like, it was a foreign language to me. I was like, I don't really know this. I'm gonna go to sleep. But no, he knows how to have a good time. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I remember at the season 2 after party. He was like, I want to be that guy, but I was pretty blasted. I lost all my friends. I stayed there till they closed.
Oh God.
So I messaged them, all my friends on WhatsApp, like, where are you? Everyone said at their hotel. I was alone there at 4 a.m. I don't even know it was 4 a.m. I can't remember. I remember seeing Carpet dancing on the dance floor like a maniac. It was fun. Really fun. I miss Amsterdam.
Yeah, dude. I wish I went to Amsterdam. I almost came. But it allowed me to buy my little computer instead. I saved up, and there's a lot of drama going on in that. We won't talk about that. Well, speaking of like casting and analysis and people knowing what they talk about, what are your thoughts on the current level of analysis in Rocket League. Do you like it, or do you think we're not utilizing all the information available to us, or what do you think?
There's definitely room for improvements in the actual game for the analysts. Um, like I don't think like having boost meter on every player in the game is important thing in my opinion to have in the game. But I think right now they do at least a decent job at bringing out the information needed. But there's always room for improvement, like I said, and things will only get good from here.
I like that. I like that statement. I won't even dig into that. We'll just move on. So stats. Stats are a big part of how some people tell the game. Do you feel like there are other things that happen in a Rocket League game that numbers don't necessarily tell?
I mean, we all know that there's like advanced programs to see how long the ball was in your side of the field, like that sort of things like that. Knows how much pressure you had on your team, and I think that's a good thing to have as well. Like stats,
Yeah.
some stats are quite like it's not needed at all, but some stats are like you need those kind of stats to show, yeah, this team is lacking on this thing, and like that's the thing they can improve on and stuff like that. So there's definitely things Psionics can implement to Rocket League that will help us teams as well, and the analyst desk as well.
Okay. I see that, yeah. Especially the thing with the boost meter on all the players at the same time. Because when you're looking at cams, like it'd be great if it was done in, I guess, like the free cam. I feel like that'd be like the best place to put it, just like on the sides of the free cam. Because the only people who really use free cams are mainly analysts, and they'll just like have it over the field so they can see like rotations and stuff. But like, there's nothing on it. We don't know. Like, you have to go to player cam to see any person's type of boost, and I don't want to be flicking through 6 different people at the same time, like all in the course of 10 seconds to figure out who had the boost and why someone, you know what I mean? The most we can do with what we have is kind of like working off of just like rotations of what we know, and then like maybe if a goal scored, we can like flick through it, but through the replay. But you got to be on your game for that. So I do think I do like the idea of the boost. I do like the idea of like having things that kind of like I know they had that heat map a while ago where it kind of showed where the ball was at. That worked out. That worked pretty well, and you could tell from that. But yeah, doing replay review, I can tell that like I spend like hours looking at replay reviews. I used to stream them. I still kind of do when league play starts, but that's just like a bunch of time spent on looking at different options that all happen within like 10 seconds of each other. And yeah, that's a lot of time spent. But I want to move forward to talk about other things too that have to do with things that players notice or like people notice about like the game. And we'll talk in specific about Landon. You switched off of an Octane. You were playing with an Octane for a little while, and then you switched to a Batmobile. I don't know if you did it at LAN or if you did it before then, but people definitely noticed a change. And someone questioned you about it. I believe it was Leaf. And he asked you about it, and you said you did it because, quote unquote, it felt good. It's like changing cars in Rocket League that simple?
I mean, going from like Octane hitbox and Batmobile hitbox is so different. Like it's a flat car and like an all-round car, like a tall car, and it just some days it feels so off with Octane. It has had bad shots and touches. With Batmobile, I have easier time shooting and like have aerial hits like going for stuff in the air. It's easier to with the Batmobile, but it's easier to dribble with Octane. and it just at that time at RCS, I felt like Batmobile was the better car for me at that day, and it just kept going until day 3, where like I just felt like Batmobile is my car this LAN, and it's just something I like to switch in between. Don't really have like a favorite car, so to say, but Octane is my go-to car, and just some days you feel off, and it's natural. I suggest like changing camera settings or changing car like I do to prevent that.
Okay. Easy tips from Turbo, for sure. Yeah, I've definitely experimented with changing cars like from time to time. I'm no pro, so don't take my word for it. But I kind of I like the fact that different like you if you're feeling some type of way on a specific day, you're able to, like, you as a professional player are able to change the car that you use, kind of almost change the style that you use, and it just works for you. Like that's like another it's a form of adaptation, and it also just shows your skill as a player and how like things like a different type of car, different hitboxes, and how you almost in a sense a different, well, no, it's not a different play style, but it doesn't really mess with how you do it. If anything, it like improves how you play. So I think that's pretty cool. Moving to, again, more personal topics. You personally have been pretty like savage on times in Twitter and sometimes in post game interviews, as we talked about earlier. I want to know, like, where does that stem from? Like, where does that come from?
I've always been competitive. I've been playing soccer or football and all these different kind of sports competitively. I don't know, like during the games we are like so-called enemies, and then after the game we are friends. We take that game, like we brush it off, and I don't know, it's just something to, everyone is so boring, and when I spark things up, make some tweets bashing some teams, it's all friendly, but it sets I'm setting them up to strike back to me if I fuck up or something. If I lose to them or something like that. I mean, it's never, you will notice if it's like if I'm targeting someone, because it's right now it's just different teams. I mean, if you want to beat me, then do it. I hope if you beat me, I hope you trash talk me on Twitter. It's fun. Everyone knows it's banter. It's never anything personal, and I don't know. It just would just spark up the scene. Everyone is so friendly and stuff. So it's fun when it's when there's some banter going on.
Everyone's so nice. I hate it. Be mean. Just be mean. It's fun. I feel that though. I do feel that it's good to get some flavor in there. And again, being nice and being positive is always great. And we welcome it in the community, but it's good to get a little spicy at times. That's always good to know. I try to do that here, which is like why this is probably going to take a interesting turn. But can you talk to me about the lowest point in your career? What was the lowest point in your Rocket League career, and how did you get over that?
I don't know really. That's like something I don't really think about. Since I'm like I'm so perfect. I don't have any lowest points, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't really know. Obviously, like season one, switching teams, and then obviously, like the group I was in, like a lot and Sniper, we're all a big group, and then from their point of view, like I backstabbed them. Like we had a good chance of making LAN, the first ever RCS LAN, and I switched teams just like weeks before the season two, the qualifier two signups. So and then they like stepped away from me, like they basically hated me. So that was like probably the lowest point I've ever had, like in my career. But I mean, we're all good friends now, so
Right.
they all ended well. And then there's always like losing every grand final, like X Games, and like that's so annoying because you always want to win, and you're always so close. You go to DreamHack Summer, that's second place. Atlanta, second place. X Games, second place. It just gets to you, like you're on the finish line, but you just fall right for that.
Right. Talk to me about. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, keep going.
I was gonna say, talk to me about the time where you had posted that twit longer. You know which one I'm talking about?
Mm.
How have things changed since you released that? Like, have things gotten better?
Yeah, I mean, it was just. I think people like thought I said like I had depression or something like that, but I don't. It was just I said I don't want to get depressed, since I know people around me, and you always see all these different tweets from different people that they're depressed and everything, and I just said like don't want to be that person, and like I'm not that anymore. I'm very like I'm fine right now. Just that people on the social media and stuff will get to you as a professional player. People will bash you. People will call you things. Like at first, it was quite hard. Obviously, since I'm a couple of kilos above the average, and people would always bash me over it. And at first, it was hard, knowing I'm literally just a regular person like everyone else.
Right.
I mean, over time I started to like not think about them. I'm living my life. They like to bash people. That's fine if they want to do it. I don't care. I see if like their life is miserable if they want like to bash people after looks. So I would like to be like a better person, and I don't know, just right now I just don't care what people's opinions. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Of course, as up and coming talent, there's always that one time where you mess up and then you get the Reddit post later and they're like, this guy's garbage. What is he doing? Why does he have a job? And people have to like deal with that. I mean, there was the whole, I won't get into specifics, but I've seen casters and you have to watch other casters have to deal with that. And you're watching, you're like, oh man. And these are all people who are, they're people. And they understand where they are and what they do, and they're happy that they're here and they want to be the best that they can be at what they're doing. And
it's just the vocal people is always the worst people. Like the people who are like the trash talking you, they're always like vocal about it. Those are the people you always see on Twitter, your tweets, their Reddit posts, and everything like that. Like the worst thing for up and coming professional player to do after after you lose a match is probably to look at Twitter or Reddit posts about that game, since it's 100% guaranteed someone's gonna bash you for that.
Yep.
And if you're not ready for that, it's gonna hit you quite hard.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose motivation. That's not good at all.
Yeah, you're gonna lose motivation. You might and that's something that a lot of people don't understand about when getting involved into stuff like that, is the fact that everything's public, everything's out there. People can say whatever they want to say, and if you, again, like you said, if you're not ready for that, and if you don't know how to pick and choose your criticism, like usually for everyone else, like we all know like to usually take criticism from our peers, or from people who are friends, or from people who are actually like involved in the stuff that we do, because we know that like that's constructive criticism, and it's not just some guy who's just watching the games who's just like, well, I've been watching RLCS since season 2, and I think I see Turbo hit the shot 15 times, and I think he should have hit that shot, so I think he's trash because he did hit that shot. Like people like that. And it's mostly just like knowing to filter that out. You have to like really it develops thick skin for people just in general. You know what I mean? I remember when I first started casting, and you see a black guy in an esports cast, and we got the try hard sevens, we got the come on bruhs. That's good. That was really good. I kind of, me personally, I before going into that, I already knew what to expect, so I've never really had to worry about that or deal with that. But yeah, it's just about filtering out the good from the bad, for sure. Speaking of which, well, actually, no, we've kind of already answered that. I was going to talk about how, like, the bantering back and forth and how people feel about that. Well, yeah, I guess so. So despite how many championships you've won, how does it feel to know that you're still being critiqued by people and some people still have an issue with you?
Well, people will always have an opinion about someone. It could be my tweets, how I speak, how I am vocal about things. It's their opinion, and if I can change that, that's great. But if I can't really decide what their opinion should be like. So I have opinions about people, and I don't know. It's like, obviously you can give constructive criticism, but if you give criticism without any backups on it, and just saying like, "Oh, you suck," and all right, thank you for that, I don't really care. I don't know. It's just, if people want to like make me a better person, for example, you need to tell me what I can do better. Like, because if someone doesn't tell me what I'm doing wrong, I will never stop doing that.
Right.
Because I don't know if that's wrong or if that's right.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And again, it just goes back to filtering out constructive criticism versus just people just shit talking online. And that's that's just part of it. Moving on. Has all of this, the World Championships, the traveling to and from North America, the lands, has any of this like affected your personal life in a major way?
I mean, yeah, I haven't hanged out with my IRL friends as much as I used to do when I went to school and stuff. Like I played floorball, like sports like hockey for people who don't know. I always met people there, my friends there at every practice, and but right now I need to be full focused on Rocket League. And with scrims, like every day, it's quite hard to plan stuff. I mean, I try to make time for people, but it's hard, and this is my job, so I need to treat that as one. So, I mean, for example, this Saturday I'm actually going out with my friends. So
there you go.
Yeah, that's one step to good, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. I like you have a schedule, you have things you have to do, and there's like like you said, this is your job. That's how you get paid,
Mm.
and I'm sure like your friends and everyone else they understand that and they respect that, and that's something that's like that's a big deal because
I
there's a
mean,
lot
they
of
they think this is cool. Like I'm playing professional in esport. Like we all been watching CS:GO esport and stuff like that,
hmm
and like they think it's cool. They support me, but they also respect that I can't hang out as much with them,
right.
and I'm doing what I think is fun.
Yeah, and that's what matters.
Mm.
Um, Again, like that's not something that everyone else in Rocket League esports can say. I know, for example, NA player Joro Lellen, he has had I don't know if he still has, but he's had his own issues with like dealing with family and getting in the way of Rocket League, and for some people that's like something that's like really hard to do or to get by. But it's good to know that you have the support of your friends and everyone else, and they back you, and like
Mm.
that's good energy, and that's good to have.
Yeah, it is.
Um, so after you became the 2-time, or after you became the 3-time, did anything change in between those wins? Like, do you get any like special perks for being the 2/3-time, or was it just like kind of like another world championship?
Uh, no, just I'm doing my job while having fun doing it. It's just I don't know. They make a two-timer topper for Kid Up and Panda, and I have nothing. Really unfair, to be honest.
We gotta fix that. We gotta fix that.
Yeah, definitely.
Emailing. Gotta email them right now. Emailing Corey and everyone else. Easy. So, you guys are damn near always winning a major tournament you enter in, but your team is not unbeatable. But do you take comfort in the fact that you can't stop grinding because some teams have come close to knocking you guys out?
I mean, we are definitely not unbeatable. Uh, just learning how to like counter our playstyle, I guess. Um, I mean, whenever you're not playing, someone else is playing, and someone else is hungry for that, like for your spot. So you always keep in mind that there's always up and coming player that wants to be where you are and do not take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like what's the word? Like I'm proud. Like I'm proud to be where I am right now, since I know people who worked way harder. So for example, like Garrett, I know a lot is working hard. Like with his team, they're practicing every day, playing shit ton of Rocket League every day. Just they never stop working. They never stop playing the game,
Mm-hmm.
and I admire that. So, but I'm really happy to be where I am right now, and I am never gonna take it for granted and like stop practicing and like take long breaks, like I know certain people or certain teams are doing.
Okay. Okay. Um, where do you think you struggle now? And this could be like you can answer this either inside the game or outside the game. But like, where do you think you struggle? And like, what's that like? I guess I want to mean like yeah. Just like where do you struggle right now?
I don't know really. Like I said before, I'm perfect and never have struggles. So,
Yeah, I wish I could live your life.
mm, yeah. Um, it just everyone knows it's easy to be on the top, like to get to the top, but it's hard to stay on the top.
Mm-hmm.
So, like whenever we get beat, like this RCS, we have the most pressure like of all time. We're expected to go like 7-0 and stuff like that. Like not get like to not fall off like G2 did season 1. After that, like season 2 never made it to LAN before season 4, and just staying consistent. Like, I don't want to fall off and make someone else take my spot because I'm not practicing hard enough or something like that.
Yeah, you kind of have like a thing for being like a consistent player. Like that's like one of like I'd say like in a game, that's something that like you're known for, just like being in the right place at the right time and like doing that time and time again. Like there's you watch a game and Turbo's always where he needs to be at, again, like at the right time. So consistency is key. It's worked out for you and the rest of your team. You've been able to like help your team so far for that. So I mean, yeah, that's rough. Like there was the times where I remember after the first one, Gale Force had won, or when you guys were Gale Force and going into last season, there was this thing about the Champions Curse and all that, and you know you had to deal with that. But then again, you guys ended up winning a second World Championship as a team.
It's just about not taking the win for granted. Like you know you're the champions, you're the best in the world, and like taking too much time off is so bad. Like right after the win, you have to immediately. You can take a max 1 week break, but if you take too much breaks, you're gonna fall off and not have the same consistency as you had before, and it's just bad. I think 4 EU teams are like screaming right now from RCS, and the rest are like taking breaks or something like that. It's just bad.
Okay.
And I can't see those teams that doesn't practice right now to make top 4 right now.
Ooh, juicy. Now, you know, people in this chat like, who is he talking about? What is this? Oh my god. We won't let you expose people unless that's something you want to do. But I want to. Let me see. We only got a couple more questions for you. One question is, okay, so you're very active on Twitter, right? You're active on Twitter. We see you in Twitch chats all the time. Why don't you stream?
To be completely honest, there's some stupid people out there, and annoys me so much. And it just, that's one thing. But like I like to take breaks, and when you're streaming, you can't take any breaks. Like I like to play 2 hours and then do something else, or 2 hours, do something else for 2 hours, like that. And consistently play Rocket League or playing Fortnite that I don't like, but it's the most hyped up game for some reason. It's just like, I don't know. It's just I don't have any motivation to stream right now. Maybe in the future I will stream, but as of right now, I don't really like streaming too much.
Do you think it's like something that has to do with like Rocket League's viewership? Do you think like the viewership needs to be up for that, or is it just like?
I mean, it's just like my personality, I think, because I don't have a lot of, since I don't stream a lot, I don't get a lot of viewers. And when I don't have a lot of viewers, the chat isn't as active as I would like it to be. And I have a hard time like keeping conversation. Like I can talk to myself as much as like other people can do. Like I know a lot. He's a very good talker. He never shuts up. Sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes it's very good. Like I think it's just my personality, to be honest.
I understand that. Yeah, I don't really know. Discussions gets viewers, and I think that's just because of people I bring on there. I talk a lot, but you know, I don't think like my personal streams are really what's popping with the young kids. Oh man, that was so lame. Okay, I gotta close this. I gotta close this stream out. One last question, Turbo. Out of all the championships and lands and every event and the practices and all of it, all these years in competing in Rocket League, what moment is the one that hit you the most? That you're just like you always think about.
I mean, season 4 RCS was one of them. We were going to second place in pretty much everything we had played, and then we finally won that. It felt really good. But winning season 3 RCS was probably the most hyped up moment for my part. Like that wins probably start. Like if I didn't win that, I probably wouldn't have teamed with Caleb and Panda. I would not have been where I am right now.
Right.
So probably that win, it made my career like boost. You know, like it's where it all started.
Yeah.
So to say.
That series against Market was that was one that like everyone who was watching was like really tensed up for. I remember the win because I believe Market was they won the upper bracket and you guys came back.
Yeah.
And we were all just like on the edge of our seats because everybody in that stadium except for the 4 Market fans, we were all like rooting for you guys to win the tournament because it was just like these guys like because Northern Gaming in itself, they had been close but they had just never really done it. So
yeah,
when that happened,
it's like we win the first game quite easily. Like I think it was 4-1, 4-2, and then it goes to game 7, and it does the exact same thing against NRG. We win the first series quite easily, and then it goes to game 7. It's like against season 3, it was 1 goal like every game, and that series was so intense.
Yeah, I mean, I remember because we were watching it. I was like, I was surrounded with everybody else. It was like we were standing behind the Psionics booth. It was like me, Cloud, and a couple other guys from the community, and some casters, and we were just like we just stood there and like no one like because the game was so tense. I think they had went in OT, and you guys. Or it was something
no, game 7 didn't go to OT. It was only 1 goal, but it was very intense.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like a lot of people described like we just saw perfect Rocket League. Oh my goodness! And I don't know. At that time, like there was definitely like 2 evenly matched teams playing, and it was something that like had everyone on the edge of their seats because, like you said, there was only 1 goal, and it was like such a big deal. But yeah, I agree. That well, it's not the moment that hit me the hardest, obviously, but I can see why that moment hit you for sure. That's something that's really that was something. So, but that's gonna be it for today or for this episode of Discussions with Dazerin. Turbo, you have been an absolute treat of a guest on the show. I was surprised the moment you came on, or the moment that we had talked on Twitter about it. And like when you said you were interested, I was like, you're trying to do this? And you were like, absolutely. I was like, okay, this is great. And this has been quite the discussion. I'm so glad we got to really just dive in deep and get to know you a little bit better as well. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No problem. But guys, for Turbo, for Daz, thank you guys so much for tuning in for Discussions with Dazerin. You know where to find Turbo on Twitter at Turbopolsa. You can find me on Twitter at iDazerin. I need to change that. I gotta talk to some Twitter guy to get me actual Dazerin. Because, yeah, we'll figure that out. But if you guys like what you've seen, please tell your friends. And thank you guys for joining the show. This has been Discussions with Dazerin. I love you all, and we will see you later. Have a good one. Peace.